Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
I would like to call to order the meeting of the Neenah Common Council for Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. Got so used to saying this meeting's being held virtually, but I don't have to say that right now because we're back in house, and that's a good thing, and good to see everyone in here once again. First item of business will be the roll call. We're happy to welcome our interim clerk back for another week here. Ellen Skirkis is filling in as the interim clerk, so his clerk will call the roll.
Alderperson Stevenson.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Skirms.
Here.
Hillstrom.
Here.
Borchardt.
Here.
Lundrum.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Bates.
Here.
Boyette.
Here.
All members are present. There's a quorum present. The next item of business will be, we invite you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Alderman Borchardt.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So tonight, there's one of those special nights. Normally, we don't get this many people in the council chambers for a regular meeting, so it's really fun and exciting when we do. The only time we do is when it's a controversial issue, so this is kind of nice having an opportunity to recognize promotions and employee recognitions for the fire department, and it's really nice to have so many family and friends here to witness it and to take part in the celebration of some of the good things that our EMS and our firefighters do on a daily basis, and this opportunity to recognize them with some special awards from the past year. So with that, I would like to introduce Chief Clone. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council, for allowing us to be back for a second time here.
Pull that a little bit closer to you, Chief, because otherwise they won't be able to hear you at home. Got to talk loud so they hear you in Harrison.
As I was saying. So last week or 2 weeks ago, we were here to introduce our 8 new firefighters, but tonight is also another special night, as the mayor has stated. Because of the 8 new hires that we've had, we have 18 promotions, and we have some significant recognitions that we'd like to give some of our staff. We're going to do a little things out of order just based on, there's some here that are working on duty today, so we'll work through this in order here. So as you know, our firefighters are very proud of what they do, but sometimes they don't like to be on the camera being recognized. But as much as it is about them, it's also about their families, the kids, parents, and significant others and grandparents, whoever's here tonight. So I welcome them all here to watch their sons and daughters be recognized. So first recognition I'd like to talk about is Captain Jim Bentel. So if Jim would like to step forward. Jim was promoted from driver operator to fire officer in 2020, but because of COVID, we weren't able to have this event for him. So Jim has 22 years of service with our department. He's our department historian, our wildland fire expert, and is a member of our honor guard. So Jim's wife, Jerry, can come forward, and she will be pinning his badge on tonight, his captain's badge. Next, I'd like to have Greg Frederick step forward. Greg is also being promoted from driver operator to fire officer. Greg has 23 years of service. He has been a shift mechanic for our department for many years, does a wonderful job with our maintenance of all of our equipment, our trucks, our small equipment, ladders, does all the ladder testing, and does a fantastic job. Tonight, Greg's wife, Charlotte, will be pinning his badge.
That would be me.
You'll get it this thick. Oh.
Can we get them with Velcro, Chief, for the next batch?
It's a class.
All right.
Sorry for the rest of you that have to. Next, I'd like to have Tim Patterson come down. Tim is also being promoted from driver operator to fire officer, and Tim has 21 years of experience. Tim is a member of our special operations team and is the driving force behind our backdraft bike tour, which is coming up here in June, so there's still time to sign up. Right, Tim? Absolutely, June 6th. So tonight, Tim's wife, Jenny, is here to pin on his badge.
He's the smartest guy here. He got a picture with his wife, not the chief.
Next, I'd like to have Joe Muthig step down. Joe was promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Joe has 19 years of service, and Joe is also one of our shift mechanics that does a fantastic job with our equipment, maintaining engines and small engines and building maintenance. Joe was a member of our public education team for many years and was also part of our last strategic planning committee. So please welcome and joining and congratulating Joe on his promotion to driver. Next, I'd like to have Dwayne Schwartz come forward. Dwayne has been instrumental in organizing Coffee with a Cop and a Firefighter with both Neenah and Menasha Police Departments. Dwayne continues to promote our department in a positive manner in everything that he does, and this is just one example of his dedication to our department in the cities of Neenah and Menasha. So tonight, we are giving Dwayne an individual recognition ribbon, and I'd like to thank Dwayne for everything that he does for us and for our department. Next, I'd like to have Jamie Leonard and Evan Forster come forward. On May 19th, 2020, Engine 31's crew consisting of Jamie Leonard, Evan Forster, and along with Nick Brodigan and Tyler Hillen, who couldn't be here tonight, responded to a call for a pulseless, non-breathing person at one of our local manufacturing facilities here in the city of Neenah. They arrived on scene and immediately began CPR. In addition, one of them drove the ambulance to Theta Clark so that paramedics could continue life-saving efforts. Their efforts were successful in saving that life, and tonight we are presenting them with a life-saving ribbon. So congratulations to your crew. I'd like to note we did give there was 2 employees there that day as well that aided in that coworker, and we recognized them last summer for their efforts. We gave them a Citizens Award for their assistance in that save. Next, I'd like to have Nate Monfort step down. Nate was promoted from firefighter to driver operator in 2020. Again, we weren't able to celebrate his promotion due to the COVID. But Nate has 20 years of service. He's a member of our special operations team. He's also a trainer for some of our specialized training, such as vehicle extrication. Nate is also involved in our intern program and a member of our safety committee. So please welcome, congratulate Nate in his promotion. Pete Anderson, could you please come down? He was promoted from fire officer to shift commander. Pete has 30 years of service, has been a member of our truck committee and instrumental in the design and maintenance of our fire trucks. And Pete's also a trainer with our department and a member of our honor guard. Please welcome and congratulate Pete on his promotion. Amos Mickelson, could you please step forward? Amos was promoted from fire officer to shift commander and has 24 years of service on the department. Amos is also a member of our truck committee and been involved with the design of our apparatus. He's a member of our strategic planning committee, helps with our grant writing, is involved with our training of our new firefighters. So please welcome, congratulate Amos on his promotion. Next, I'd like to have Jeff Ellis step down. Jeff is being promoted from driver operator to fire officer. He has 23 years of service on the department and been involved with many committees over the years. Currently is a member of our safety committee in our intern program. And tonight, Tara will pin his badge. Next, I'd like to have Brian Goldschmidt step forward, please. First, I'd like to thank his family for getting him here. That was much appreciated. Brian's being promoted from driver operator to fire officer and has 23 years of service. Brian's been involved with helping train our new firefighters. In addition, Brian takes on many maintenance projects at our the various stations, and appreciate all the work that he's done. So tonight, Brian's wife, Chris, is here to pin on his badge. Next, I'd like to have Jamie Leonard step forward again. Jamie's been promoted from driver operator to fire officer, has 23 years of service on the fire department. Jamie has been a member of our strategic planning committee, is our former union president of Local 275, and continues to be very active with the local. Always willing to help in the many activities that we have, and appreciate all his work on our department. Tonight, Jamie's wife, Cheryl, is here tonight to pin on his badge. Next, I'd like to have Tony DiPiazza step forward, please. Tony is also being promoted from driver operator to fire officer and Tony has 22 years of service with our department. Tony is a member of our special operations team, and along with being involved with our safety and fitness committees, he's also involved with the operations of our backdraft bike tour. So we appreciate all the work that Tony has done in his 22 years of service. So tonight, his wife Chris is here to pin on his badge.
Pictures with the chief are not optional.
They got plenty of film.
I'd like to have Anthony Laytone step forward, please. Anthony is also being promoted from driver operator to fire officer. Anthony has 21 years of service. He is also a member of our special operations team, public education team, also involved with Local 275 Santa Float, Honor Guard, and Backdraft Bike Tour. So we congratulate him on all his activities that promote our fire department. Tonight, Anthony's wife, Eulalie, is here to pin on his badge. To have Pat Meyer step forward, please. Pat is being promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Pat has 20 years of service, is a member of our Honor Guard, and has been involved with Local 275 Santa Float. Please join me in congratulating Pat on his promotion. Next, I'd like to have Jeff Schweitzer step forward, please. Jeff is also being promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Jeff has 20 years of service. He is also one of our shift mechanics that does a fantastic job on our equipment. He's also a member of our public education team. And a few years ago, when we received a grant, Jeff was instrumental in securing our new boat 35, along with helping design and build a new trailer for that boat. So please join me in congratulating Jeff on his promotion. Next, I'd like to have Mike Pokwinski step forward. Mike is also being promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Mike has 16 years of service and is also a member of our public education team. Please join me in congratulating Mike on his promotion. Next, I'd like to have Brad Auksher step forward, please. Brad is also being promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Brad has 16 years of service, member of our public education team, and was instrumental in securing funds to replace our public education trailer and also with the splash pad at the park. So please join me in congratulating Brad on his. Next, I'd like to have John Pack step forward. back. All right. Well, John, must not be here tonight. But he has 16 years of service, is a member of our fitness committee, and also very active in our local 275 with many different activities and fundraisers. So, congratulations to John. Next, I'd like to have Jim Roberts step forward. Jim is being promoted from firefighter to driver operator. Jim has 15 years of service, is part of our training grounds committee, and I'd like to have you please congratulate Jim on his promotion. Next, if I could have Jeff Schweitzer please step forward. This next one is with a group. It would have been Captain Jeff Strasser, who just retired back on February 23rd of this past year. Captain Strasser, Jeff, Alex Fickle, and Nick Schrader, who are not here tonight, responded to a call on Lake Winnebago for a snowmobiler who went through the ice. And this is one of those calls that because of the training that we do, we train. Everybody asks why we train so much. Well, this call is one of those reasons why. All the right decisions happen to have been made that night based on where they responded to, the equipment that they put on right away, utilized during the rescue. This snowmobiler was in about 18 feet of water, and when the Captain Strasser and firefighter Fickle got out there, he literally said, "I was letting go in any second." He was literally chin was the only thing hanging onto the ice. So, but if it wasn't for the actions of this crew from Engine 35, this person would not have made it. So, congratulations! I would like to present them with their life-saving ribbon. Next, I'd like to have Jeff Ellis and Tony DiPiazza step forward. A few years ago, we started working on a project, and I'd also like to thank Samantha Jefferson from our Community Development Department and Alderman Lee Hillstrom also sat on this committee, but we did a lean project on how we can prevent cancer within our fire department. And cancer right now is one of those things that fire departments are scrambling to try and figure out how to keep from within our apparatus, within the station, the gear, and then, of course, our firefighters. So trying to protect our own firefighters, we came up with a lean project. Tony and Jeff were instrumental in putting this together. We are still working on that, but we have a great system now, and I appreciate all the work that they've done. So tonight we're presenting Jeff and Tony with a group recognition ribbon for their hard work on our safety committee and help implementing this change to protect all our firefighters. Congratulations. Lastly, I'd like to have Greg Robluski step forward. So about 5 years ago, our department began planning for the many retirements that we've experienced over this last few years. And as you can see, we've hit the 8 new hires and the many promotions. But during that time, it was decided that we would create job performance reviews on our firefighters, have all our training expectations in one area. And in addition, administration and local 275 members agreed to change the process in which we would promote based on these JPRs. Through the creation of our JPR books, we've done it for our fire officers, our driver operators, and one area that we were lacking was with our shift inspectors. And once the book was completed, they're eligible for promotion once they're completed. So we had created all the books except this one. And during the retirement of Assistant Chief Green and the new hiring of Assistant Chief Krieger, we were a little behind in getting this book completed. So Shift Inspector Robluski took it upon himself to work with the admin team and with our new Assistant Chief Krieger in creating this JPR book for the shift inspectors. I think it turned out awesome. It'll be a wonderful tool for our inspectors to continue learning the inspection role. So tonight I'd like to present Greg with the individual recognition ribbon for all his hard work in this book. So congratulations. I will add that the selection of the recognition just isn't from our admin team. Our admin team reviews these recognitions. The recognitions come from their peers. So their peers recognize the hard work and the different things that they do for our department. So that's pretty cool. So I'd like to thank you for your time, Mayor and the council and families and friends, and I'd like to thank all the firefighters here tonight. They've worked really hard to get where they're at, and they make me very proud to be part of this department. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much, Chief. And I say this a lot when you guys are here, and police and fire. And it's not that you're any different or more important than all of our employees, whether they be in public works, community development. We've got terrific staff, but in the case of our fire department, I truly believe I've been here 7 years, and I've seen great improvement, and we have a terrific command staff in Chief Clone and Chief Voss, Chief Peglow, and now Chief Krieger. So I'm very proud of the command staff, very proud of the officers and the firefighters who work day in, day out. They train constantly, and I get to see that firsthand. But in many ways, are the face of our community, and the citizens of Neenah Menasha, I know, are confident that and proud of their hard work, their dedication, and their professionalism. And so we're extremely glad to give you a few minutes tonight to share in these awards and to say thank you from the community. So thank you all very, very much. It does give me an opportunity when you listen to the story about the AED save. These are important. These are important to people like Gold Cross and the firefighters and the police. And in the city here, a few years ago, we developed a program where every city employee will be have AED training. And it's very important. So now whether there's someone on the moor at the park, or they're at the library, or they're here in City Hall, every single employee. Now we've had a lot of retirements and a lot of new employees. So HR Director Lindsay is developing, we're going to update and make sure all the new employees are certified, and that the old employees are recertified in AED use here in the city. And in addition to that, the fighters themselves are going to help Gold Cross and I train the public, anyone from the public who wants to be trained in the use of the AED, and I highly support that. So thank you for all you do, and thanks for taking the time to be with us tonight. If you want, you can sneak out, and we'll just break here for 1 minute, and thank you all very, very much. Back. Okay, we're back. We will now move on to our agenda, and we have one other item of housekeeping here, and item number 2 is the introduction and confirmation of a mayor's appointment. Lindsay, would you like to introduce our guest? We have a guest here, so. This is kind of an audible, Lindsay, so sorry about that. You know what happened to T.J. Rubley when he called an audible? But
So tonight we are excited and happy to welcome Shar Nagel. Over the last couple months, we led a recruitment process for our city clerk position with Council President Stevenson, Mayor Coffert, City Attorney Westbrook, and other members of city staff, and we're delighted to have Shar joining us, officially set to start with us next Wednesday, May 26th.
thank you very much, and we'd like to welcome Shar here, who's up for confirmation tonight by the council. Welcome, Shar.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I'm Shar Nagel. I come to you with 14 years of municipal clerk experience, mostly in towns. I've served 7 years with the town of Ledgeview up in Brown County, and I served 7 years with the town of Okollet. I am a Neenah resident, and I am excited to get started in my new position.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions or comments? Council President Stevenson.
Not a comment, but having sat on the committee that interviewed Shar a couple times and went through the process, I'm extremely excited to have her join us, and proud of the work that she's done, and most impressed by the fact that she was proud to be able to serve her hometown, and so that was really important. So based on that, I would make a motion for the council to appoint Shar Nagel to the position of the city clerk commencing May 26, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Boyette. Any discussion? No discussion. Is there any objection to unanimous consent for the appointment of Shar Nagel to the position of city clerk commencing May 26, 2021? Hearing no objection, that's so ordered. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Item number 3, approval of the council proceedings of May 5th, 2021 regular session. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Alderman Lundrum,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Skirms. Any corrections, comments, additions, corrections, anything? Hearing none. Any objection, unanimous consent to the council proceedings of May 5th, 2021? Hearing none. That's so ordered. There are no public hearings. The next item is item number 6, a public forum. Anyone can speak during a public forum. All we do is ask that the speakers give their name and address and limit their topic of conversation to 5 minutes or less. We do have a special guest here tonight. I'd like at this point time to introduce Jada Remy. Jada is representing Neenah in the Miss Teen Wisconsin pageant this weekend, and she's come to say hello and tell us a little bit about herself and what's going on this weekend. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jada Remy, and I would like to say thank you for having me here and letting me speak to you guys today. I'm representing Neenah in this year's Miss Teen USA Wisconsin state pageant, and in hopes to going on to nationals where there is one girl who competes for each state. I live in Neenah. I'm born and raised my whole life. I do online at eAchieve. It's a school through Waukesha. I've done online there for about 5 years, and I'm set to graduate in January. My biggest thing for the pageant is advocating for mental health and sexual assault awareness for young girls who have dealt with things. I've dealt with mental health for a lot of my life, and I just really want to be there and support many girls or boys who have been in the same position I have been in. I'm very grateful and thankful to have my family to be here to support me and to bring me on this journey. So I just want to say thank you for letting me come out, and you guys can vote for People's Choice. You can go to Miss Teen USA Wisconsin and go to contestants, and you can click on People's Choice and go and vote for Jada Remy. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, Council President Stevenson.
Yeah, could you do us a huge favor? Could you, if you have the mayor's email address, you can find it at our website. If you could email that link to where we could do it, he could forward to the council to make sure we get it right. Yeah. And perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And Thank you for the parents for coming, and Grandma and Grandpa, my good friend Rod, thank you. You've got to be excited and proud, so have fun this weekend. Good luck.
Good luck.
Anyone else here who would like to speak to us in the public forum section? Welcome, come on up.
My name's John Polachek. I live at 129 North Western Avenue. Two separate words, North and Western Avenue. One of the less confusing addresses in the town. Anyway, I'm here to get some advice as to what we can do to alleviate a problem we're having with noise with a neighbor. It's a factory, and we, within the last few months, have been experiencing a loud, low-frequency booming noise. It's intermittent, and it can happen in succession, one boom per second, anywhere from 15 to 20 times. It happens all through the night. It seems to happen like maybe once every 2 hours, and a succession of 15 to 20 booms. I've slept with, I guess you call them white noise machines and earplugs and you name it, but nothing stops this sound. And it's waking me up, it's waking up my wife. Haven't been sleeping well. And I spoke with another neighbor at Western Townhomes, the manager at Western Townhomes, right there in the same neighborhood. And she has had lots of residents complaining about the same issue. She has experienced the same issue. And we're just not really sure what to do about it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's troublesome because it's intermittent and we can't figure out how to detect it. I've tried calling the police, and the police have gone over, but by the time they get there, the noise is gone again. The manager at Western Townhomes has tried calling the city, and the advice that she got was to call the police. I spoke directly with Officer Hamilton in the police department, and she was very helpful, and she tried her best to give me some good advice, but in the long run, we determined that there's really not much that they can do to try to catch this sound, because they have, obviously they have lots of important problems they're dealing with all the time, rather than sitting there trying to, wait for this noise to come and then put a dB detector on it, or a decibel detector. Another problem is the decibel detector, there's a good chance it's not going to even register with this sound because it's low frequency. And those really low frequency sub-oscillator type sounds, they don't register on these decibel machines or decibel readers unless there are higher frequencies that accompany it. So I don't know if the sound is coming through the sewer system or what it is, but somehow it's just resonating. I think the noise has been happening for several months now. I didn't really think much of it at first because I thought maybe it's just another neighbor building something. Then I thought maybe I saw some construction at this factory. It's Eggers Industries. I saw some construction there, and they did put an addition on very recently. When I saw this construction, I thought, well, okay, maybe they're just, putting in some pylons, or it's, some kind of a pile driver noise or something, and it's only temporary. So I didn't think much of it. But I've just come to the point where I don't think it's going away. I think it's just going to keep happening, and not sure exactly what to do about it, but I know something needs to be done about it. I don't know if we can ask them to, put some kind of, I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is, but it's a hassle, and I feel like it's starting to affect my health, honestly, because I can't, I'm not sleeping.
How we normally do this, there is, so you give us a problem, we'll see if anyone else wants to speak, and then we'll address this immediately following this item of business. We'll give you I'll have a couple suggestions, okay?
All right.
Thank you very much. Anyone else here in the chambers who'd like to speak? And then we have someone online who would like to speak. Come on up.
Hi, Heidi Keating, 525 Ryford Road in Neenah. I work in public health, and I'm here to talk about the proposed in new business about allowing the sale of beer and malt beverages at convenience stores. And I know this issue has come up, kind of on an annual basis. And I was looking through the history put together. It was in the packet online, and there's really some thoughtful suggestions on trying to be safe around selling alcohol at convenience stores, because Neenah is kind of unique in that they prohibit selling alcohol where gas is sold. And so, from what I understand, and this is new business, and it would have to be a suspension of rules to continue talking about it. But I just wanted to provide some information, just as some education. And certainly our health department works on alcohol misuse, and in the county we have federal grants, and it's come up as a priority, a community health improvement priority for our county, for our surrounding counties as well, Outagamie County and Calumet County. And it's a priority in the state health improvement plan. Alcohol use, misuse is a priority throughout our state. So what I brought, it sounds, selling beer and malt beverages, fermented malt beverages. They're called FMBs for short. They're also called malternatives. And kind of like what those look like, because really part of the concern for our community is increasing alcohol outlet density, increasing the number of places where alcohol is available. So by allowing convenience stores to sell, we would increase our alcohol outlet density. So, as I researched this, it's kind of surprising. Who the target audience is for some of these beverages, and to see if you can really tell the difference as to which ones have alcohol and which ones don't. And I did note that in the proposal that there would be no single servings that you would have to sell, like in a 6-pack. And so, I bought this at Festival. All of the things that I bought are available in a 4-pack or a 6-pack. So I just wanted to show some kind of variety of what that looks like. And I'm more than happy to bring it up. Cans. One of them has alcohol and one of them doesn't. But it's pretty hard to tell from just looking at them. Let's see here. One of these has alcohol and one doesn't. You know, it's hard to, you know, you look at this and you're like, this says Pixie Mix on it and orange lava splash. And then this is black cherry pineapple. You know, so you have to really kind of see which one has alcohol. Some of them I just bought because they're pretty. So years ago, I worked on a grant, and we worked on alcohol. And, you know, these are very appealing to youth. The alcohol industry says they're appealing to new drinkers and young drinkers. You know, they're also appealing to underage drinkers because it's not, and these all fall in the category, the ones that contain alcohol as a fermented malt beverage. So we're not just talking about beer. We're talking about hard tea. We're talking about hard soda, hard lemonade. You know, a wild berry. One has, again, these slim cans. Like to, you want me to pass them around? You can tell if they're open or not.
Crack one open.
Yeah. And, you know, if you don't know about, like, what these look like, and, you know, it's because we're not the target audience. They're not really appealing to me. I don't want to have a cranked blackberry black tea. You know, with, I don't, so I just thought, you know, like the more you kind of know what this stuff looks like, you know, some of them are energy drinks, and some of them, you know, are in the alcohol section. So, you know, when you're comparing them, and then also as a parent, if your son or daughter, you know, walked into the room or outside with a can of this, you know, as a parent, this doesn't look like a Budweiser, you know, or a Spotted Cow, the ones that we're more familiar with. And it's like, oh, is that, I mean, and this doesn't look like a can of Coke either, for that matter. So it's hard to tell, but this one has alcohol and this one doesn't. This one's an energy drink, Rain, total body fuel. And this one, I can't even read it, is a triple dry hop, triple IPA, and with 10% alcohol in it. So, and they are available in 4-packs and 6-packs. And so it's just one of those things. I just want you to know that sometimes the fermented malt beverages, it sounds kind of like, oh, what are those? But it's a huge industry, and it's a growing industry. And my colleague on the computer, she has sent you all information. And no matter what you decide, you know, if you decide to go to change the ordinance, just read through that information. There's the other thing is that they've done studies now. I first saw the study from 2010, but I just saw another one repeated of looking at, of all the illegal drugs out there, they rank which one is the most harmful. And so, you know, what do you think is more harmful between, you know, crack, cocaine, heroin, tobacco, marijuana, cigarettes? You know, which one comes up on top? And it's alcohol. Because when they look at 2 categories, harm to self and harm to others. And alcohol is by far the most harmful drug because of the harm to others. And it's not just driving. drinking and driving. The harm to others has to do with home life and loss of economic opportunities for people that have alcohol problems, and then the people close to them have impacts, negative impacts. And so that's really what a lot of, the impact on youth, whether it's from drinking or from being in a family with problem drinkers, there's a lot of evidence around that. So it's a really big issue, and Wisconsin has a lot of problems with it, and so it's hard to address, and there are city and community interventions, and limiting alcohol outlet density is one of them. Thanks. And if anybody wants to see this up close, more than happy to show you.
Thank you, Heidi. On the line, on the computer, Nikki Uharty, I'm sorry. Nikki, would you like to speak to the council? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to say thank you, first of all, for still allowing a virtual option. I had an injury recently that would make it difficult to get there in person, so it's happy to still see this. But I work with Heidi. My name is Nikki Uharty. I'm the Policy and Equity Coordinator for the Winnebago County Health Department. I spoke the last time we talked about this back in February of 2020. But speaking again tonight regarding item B under new business, the amendment of the Municipal Code 495 with the sale of malted beverages in businesses that dispense gasoline. So as Heidi mentioned, I had sent an email yesterday to all city council members, including a letter from our health director, a handout that shared a bunch of different information, data, statistics on alcohol density, and then also a map including current Class A licenses in the city and potential Class A outlets. So just really quick, alcohol outlets are places where alcohol is sold. You can have Class A, Class B, we're talking about Class A here, but alcohol outlet density indicates the number of physical locations where alcohol is sold per population or geographic area, like a square mile, census tract, or city block. So numerous studies have shown that increasing that alcohol outlet density is significantly associated with numerous negative impacts, including increased alcohol consumption and increased alcohol-related harm, particularly violence. And actually, research shows that when you increase the number of alcohol outlets in a community, it will increase alcohol-related crime and disorder, even if all of those licenses obey relevant laws. So just increasing that outlet density increases the alcohol-related crime and disorder, regardless if they're obeying the laws. So amending this ordinance to allow convenience stores to sell alcohol has the potential to almost double alcohol outlet density for Class A licenses in Neenah from 12 to 23, and that will likely have a significant negative health impact on the public health and safety of the community, and then additional licenses could soon follow if more locations decide to pop up. You can find more facts, data, and information in those attachments I sent in the email, and that map as well that really shows out how much of a significant change it could potentially be. And I just want to share a few of the key facts. Those handouts that I gave you, there's a lot in it, but just a few that I wanted to really bring to your attention. Increased alcohol outlet density is associated with increased levels of alcohol consumption among youth, increased deaths from cirrhosis and suicide, and increased levels of assault and other harm, including homicide, child abuse and neglect, self-inflicted injury, and road traffic injuries. Adolescent binge drinking and driving has been significantly associated with the presence of alcohol retailers within a half a mile of someone's home. And this one I found surprising, but research indicates that convenience stores are the first target for underage buyers. Youth purchase rates at highest rates at convenience stores and grocery stores, but relatively low rates at other outlets like liquor stores and drug stores. And then youth living in census tracts with the greatest off-site outlet density have an 80% increased risk for attempting and successfully buying alcohol. So a lot of impacts specifically shown for youth. We're pleased to see that there's a lot of requirements in the ordinance amendment that provide some restrictions for the sale of alcohol in convenience stores, but amending the ordinance could create a dangerous over-concentration of alcohol outlets in the city. And the evidence really is overwhelming that increasing that number of alcohol outlet density increases alcohol consumption and alcohol-related harm, especially to our youth. When people see alcohol as economic development, they often fail to see the alcohol-related crime and disorder as a problem in our community. So I just want to ask tonight to please weigh carefully who benefits and who's harmed before considering that any further. I know this topic comes up all the time, lots of different pros and cons, but just wanted to share what the health impacts look like from the health department standpoint. So thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Come on up.
Thank you. My name is Dustin Davies. I'm a manager at Sellers Wine and Spirits. I'm going to piggyback off of what these ladies had said as well. Start off here.
You're the manager of what? I'm sorry.
Sellers Wine and Spirits.
Okay.
To start off, personally, I'm not from Neenah. I'm from Madison. I moved here to follow my wife's career. She is an emergency room physician assistant. In Madison, it has always been known that you can buy alcohol from gas stations. As a youth, we knew that. We would go to those gas stations. It was very simple to slip a clerk extra money, and you were walking out with a six-pack of beer. We have professionals at our establishment there. I'm sure you guys are very well of Paul Schultz, Nick Sharpless. Those two are very well-trained individuals. They stop more people than I can even count trying to come in there. People know that you are not allowed to purchase alcohol if you are under 21 at our store. Those examples that she showed right there, that's not even touching the alcohol that is out there that is programmed more for the youth. It shows on these cans just beautiful artwork, beautiful, colorful things that if you sit in front of a 5-year-old, I guarantee they're going to go towards it over a juice box. It's just how it's attracted right now. I did not prepare for this meeting as much as you can. I'm extremely nervous, so I do apologize. I also realize that that adds 10 pounds, so. But my wife and I were driving here today, and we were talking about it. And as I mentioned, she is in the emergency room. She sees a lot of people in Brown County coming in that are underage drinking. I'm not saying I know where they get their alcohol. I cannot. That is pure assumption. But that's going to impact our community. Neenah, from sitting here watching all this pride with all these firefighters, there's so much pride into the community. And we're looking to change something that doesn't necessarily need to be changed. You have so many people that can be impacted by this. As they mentioned, this mental health issue, we have people to protect it. We have everything into place. If convenience is that big of an issue, there are establishments that have been in place for so many years within a mile of any gas station in Neenah. So why change that? I spoke with some of my friends who were born and raised in Neenah, some of our old coworkers who have turned 18. All of them have openly admitted that they would either drive into Fox Crossing or into Menasha, and they would try to buy alcohol from gas stations. The proof is in the pudding right there. I just want to leave it at that. I did write down one quote. I looked up an article. I think it was back from 2016 when you guys had gone through this. It came from Barry Busby. He's a coroner. He was quoted in this as saying that his message is alcohol is in the wrong. My message is alcohol in the wrong hands is bad. You have a good thing going. I hope you don't mess it up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Welcome.
I'm on the opposite side of this because I'm a gas station owner. This is kind of fun. I was here for 2016 with Barry, and I was on the other side of him. But since then...
State your name and address.
Oh, sorry. Jake Lamb.
And please address the council.
Hi, council. Home address over at 912 Bayview Road. Also own Pump and Munch gas stations over in Neenah. Like I said, I was here for those. I was on the other side. Actually, I'm here on the other side with the last few people that came. Talking with Marge, Lee, Carrie, and a lot of you others kind of convinced me that Neenah is special for not having these. So back in 2016 is when I kind of changed my opinion, and that's when we had our conversations, and I said, you know what? I'll stop bringing that back up because it is important. It is going well. And it also opens up many other establishments, like I don't remember what her name was up on the screen, but yeah, you are going to get another 10, 12, however many stores open up, liquor licenses out there that are going to be providing this. I also have another standpoint on it. I believe this was brought by community development, and I think it's somebody else is coming in with this that wants to bring more gas stations to Neenah, is my guess is why that's going. So obviously, I would come up for that, you know, and I don't think we need more gas stations. Obviously, because I own one, but I also don't think we need more grocery stores. I don't think we need more pharmacies. We've been really trying to develop Neenah to keep it special, keep it unique, bring in more opportunity, more shopping, more whatever that may be. I don't think we need more of the same. I think we need different opportunities out there. I had a lot more in my head to say, but that's all I can remember. So anybody ever wants to talk, give me a holler. Thanks.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Anyone else? That probably takes care of everyone. At this point, I would close the public forum, and we'll go on to Mayor Council consideration of public forum issues. I would just say, sir, that with regards to your noise, now we've been made aware of it and that, and we will, normally in the past, we've had these issues in the city. We've had it in the industrial park. Sometimes they're hard to nail down. They're hard to figure out. When we do, Director of Community Development, Chris Hayes, has been very helpful in working with the business, working with the factory, Neenah Foundry, you know, I'm not singling them out, but other companies that have had noise issues. We have been able to work with them and get them to be good neighbors, figure out what the problem is, put a shroud around it, enclose it, do different things. And I assume, Chris, I mean, we do have an ordinance, but like you stated, this is a kind of a different kind of sound. It probably doesn't meet the decibels and that, or, but Chris, do you have anything to add? But, we're going to check it out. I presume we'll contact the facility and see if they're aware of any of this kind of noise that maybe we can work on trying to get fixed for the neighborhood. Is that? Yeah, so that's how we've handled it in the past. And okay. And is this only, can I ask a question then? Is this only done at night, or during the day do you hear the same thing? But it's still there. Okay. And you're quite sure that it's coming from BTI, Eggers? Okay. All right, Chris? All righty. Anyone else have any comments or suggestions? Alderman Bates, who's dealt with these issues.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I live near the industrial park, so I get these all the time. What I would say is, Chris, if you need somebody to go out at night, I've been known to sit in my car waiting for these things. If and the mayor knows it because I will be texting him at 11 o'clock at night. And there's a few of us that are willing. We've dealt with a few of these before. So if Chris, if you don't find something, let us know and we'll hang out there because we don't get paid by the hour.
We have your number.
I can stay out till 10 now.
Ooh.
Alderman Stevenson.
So, Mr. I think it's Palachuk, is that what you said? Palachuk. So, has anyone had any contact with Eggers?
You come up to the microphone, sir, because what'll happen is the people at home can only hear those of us on the microphone, so thank you.
So I haven't contacted them just because I wanted to make sure that I'm doing things in the most respectful manner with them, and I wasn't sure exactly what routes I should take. I had I did get some advice from a few different people that maybe I should not try to directly contact them, that maybe it would be a little more.
Yeah, it's important for people like Chris who is going to make a contact. If there has been contact, it's good for him to know that so he can position his call appropriately.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, by bringing it to our attention tonight, I think you'll find that, you know, we have people that can talk to them. We have contacts and everything, and we'll do our best to see if we can isolate it or figure it out, okay? Go ahead, Alderman Erickson.
I have a question. Have you tried recording the noise at all?
I have not tried recording it. I haven't tried recording it, and I have a feeling that you would need a very, very high-end microphone and recording system to really be able to capture this noise and also reproduce it, because low-frequency sounds, you need 18-inch subwoofers or some kind of very powerful stereo system to even reproduce the sound after you record it. So
Okay.
I don't have the means to do something like that.
All right.
So.
Director Hayes?
I would just suggest or encourage you to document when you're hearing this, and if you can.
We've started doing that.
Yeah, perfect. If you can get that to me, or I'll get in contact with you. Sometimes that helps narrow down the conversation in terms of when exactly this is happening.
I think it's random, but we are trying to.
Meaning
so far, it's random.
Right, on their end, they
Yeah.
can go, if I'm saying it's happened at 11:04 p.m., they can figure out what's going on in their process that might be causing it.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
Adam, can you maybe give them a piece of paper and get an address and phone number so that we can contact them? Thank you. All right, anyone else? But thank you for coming tonight and sharing and making us aware of this, okay? Anyone else on Mayor Council consideration? Heidi, I believe you'll probably stick around if people have questions during it, or, okay, Heidi and Nikki, this will be coming up on the agenda. I might have a couple, and we'll do it at the time when we take up the issue. Is that okay? Good. So, with that, thank you for coming. Item number 8 is the consent agenda. Alderman Bates.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Alderman Bates moves, seconded by who? I'm sorry. Alderman Borchert. Is there any other comments or questions on this item? Consent agenda? Is there any objection to unanimous consent to approving the consent agenda? Any objections? Hearing no objections, that's so ordered. Thank you. The reports of the standing committees, the regular Public Services and Safety Committee meeting of May 11th, 2021. Chairman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. From the committee meeting of May 11th, and the minutes can be found on the city website. Committee recommends council approve the Class A and Class B liquor beer license renewals provided in Exhibit A of the agenda, contingent upon payment of all delinquent city fees, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman.
Second.
Bates, seconded by Alderman Stevenson. I would mention that during the committee, there was some comments and questions, and the committee asked me to follow through with one of the license holders, Bridgewood Golf Course and Ground Round, with the using the golf course license. Mr. Batley told me there are two things. Number one, there is some activity going on with a potential new development. Number one, and Chris, I've talked to Chris too, that development could possibly utilize a liquor license. Number two, they are still using, in their minds, that liquor license when they have weddings outside. They have some weddings out on the golf course, and they set up a mini bar and things like that. So in his eyes, they have been still kind of using on a very limited basis because of the pandemic. But some people want to have a wedding outside and a ceremony and then maybe some wine after and that. So the utilization of that license is still being used. So he has asked that they be able to hold on to it at least till the discussions with this new development and that are finished. Okay? Alderman Bates, then Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor. Concerning that license, I know that there is a time frame of when you have to, if you are out of business or whatever that we have. Do we have to take it back, or are we just allowed to take it back
You're
at that
allowed
point?
to take it back, but I
Okay.
believe it, Adam, am I correct? They would take an action by the council to take it back. So
Okay.
by taking no action, you're approving the extension, so to speak.
And then at this point, if we find in a few months that it really did go under and it really isn't running, that we can say, at this point, we can take it back. This is not you get it for the whole year no matter what.
City attorney is nodding. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Borchert.
I just out of curiosity too, do we have a set number of liquor license for Neenah? And like, all right, because we have so many population, or is there a formula determined?
Class B, but not Class A.
Okay, so Class A can have as many as like.
I don't believe Class A are limited. Is that correct?
Correct. We have a limit on how many bars you can have.
Class B is in-house, in service inside,
Sure.
at the facility. Class A is retail license, where it's taken from the facility. I don't think the state of Wisconsin, hope I'm going to turn here, are, but I don't believe they regulate Class A.
Okay.
Class B, they do.
Curious, that's interesting to think about.
Mark, go ahead.
So if I direct this to Alderman Borchert, so that's why when we have these discussion about the golf courses, it's more of we have a limited number as opposed to these other where we would open up to the gas stations where it would be, you could just add another 12 or whatever.
Good question.
What is the formula for Class B to determine how many? Is it per population? Is it?
The state assigns how many liquor licenses each community can get.
For Wisconsin.
Well, and I think it's based on population, but it's not directly correlated to population. Like Milwaukee has more than they will ever use. Communities our size are all full and don't have any, so it all depends.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good question. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, there's a motion and a second to that council approve the Class A and Class B beer license renewals that were provided in Exhibit A of the agenda, and that will be contingent upon the payment of any and all delinquent city fees. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. As the clerk calls your name, please.
Lundrum.
Aye.
Borchardt.
Aye.
Hillstrom.
Aye.
Skirms.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Boyette.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Lang.
Aye.
That's 9-0.
That motion passes.
The committee recommends council approve the purchase of the Ford Transit Connect cargo van from Bergstrom Lincoln Ford, Fox Valley, Neenah, in the amount of $25,918.50, using the 2021 operating and capital improvement budget of $25,000 and the remaining $918.50 from the capital equipment reserve, and I would so move.
Second. There's a motion by Alderman Bates, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom. Comments or questions? Alderman Boyette.
Just curious, what department is going to use this vehicle?
What was the question?
Which department would be using the vehicle?
Jerry, go ahead.
It's for Public Works Engineering.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor will vote aye, all opposed will vote no as the clerk calls the roll.
Borchardt.
Aye.
Hillstrom.
Aye.
Skirms.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Boyette.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Lang.
Aye.
Lundrum.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The motion passes.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for the report. Item B is the regular Finance Personnel Committee meeting of May 10th, 2021. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of May 10th, 2021. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve M3 Insurance as the city's benefit broker with an effective date of July 1st, 2021, and I so move.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Erickson, seconded by Alderman Boyette. Comments or questions on this item? Committee members, Director Steele is here. He headed this effort up and did a nice job. And seeing no questions, all in favor of the motion will vote aye. All opposed, vote no. As the clerk calls the roll, please.
Hillstrom.
Aye.
Skirms.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Boyette.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Lang.
Aye.
Lundrum.
Aye.
Borchardt.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That motion passed.
And that concludes my report.
Thanks for the report, Madam Chairperson. Item number 10 is special committees and liaisons or various special project committees. Regular plan commission meeting of May 1st, 11th was canceled. Item number B, the Board of Public Works meeting of May 11th, 2021. Vice Chairman Bates.
No, it's now Vice Chairman Hillstrom.
Oh, okay. Vice Chairman Hillstrom.
Just like the old days again.
There you go. He's back.
Okay, this evening there are 4 informational items. The minutes from this meeting can be found on the city website. Item A, the board approved pay estimate number 5, contract 3-20, hot mix asphalt street construction on Van Street, Monroe Street, Gillingham Road, and Shooting Star Drive to Summers Construction Company, Jayocton, in the amount of $4,999.99. Couldn't quite get to that 5,000 mark. Item B, the board approved pay estimate number 3, contract 11-20, Lakeshore Avenue street construction to Summers Construction Company, Jayocton, in the amount of $233,812.98. The third item, the board approved pay estimate number 2, contract 1-21, sanitary, water main, and street construction on Marathon Avenue, Donald Heppes and Sons Incorporated, in the amount of $475,304.71. And the last informational item, the board approved pay estimate number 2, contract 2-21, sanitary, water main, and street construction on Fairview Avenue and Loudon Boulevard to Carl Bowers and Sons Construction Company Incorporated, in the amount of $218,687.15. Now we have 2 additional council action items. First one is the board recommends council approve pay estimate number 4 and final payment for Arrowhead Park Phase 1A, the Super Excavation LLC, Oshkosh, in the amount of $148,381.19, but to hold the retainage amount of $27,416.42 until the Director of Public Works and Director of Parks and Recreation deems that significant growth has been established to the seating along the lake, at which time he will advise the council that the retainage has been paid, and I would so move.
Second.
Here's a motion by Alderman Hillstrom, seconded by Alderman Bates. Comments or questions? Seeing no one, the the clerk will call the roll. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed signify by saying no.
Skirms.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Boyette.
Aye.
Bates.
Aye.
Lang.
Aye.
Lundrum.
Aye.
Borchardt.
Aye.
Hillstrom.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The second item, the board recommends council award contract 4-21, epoxy pavement markings to Brickline Incorporated Madison in the amount of $52,068.15, and I would so move.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Hillstrom, seconded by Alderman Bates. Comments or questions on this item? Alderman Boyette?
Just curious what the location was for this work?
The location for Alderman...
Pavement markings?
Sure. Director Kaiser?
This contract typically focuses on an area and then, but also does some spot work in other locations. Primarily will be on Winneconne Avenue with this project this year.
Great, thank you.
but there are spots throughout the city. that
That's
are-
correct.
Alderman Stevenson.
Yeah, Jerry, what did, I apologize, I didn't check the committee agenda. What was the budget amount for this?
The budget amount, it comes out of the operating budget, and I want to say we were at 52,000. It would be traffic outside services
Okay.
budget.
Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. Any other comments or questions on this? Seeing none, all in favor will vote aye. Any opposed, vote no, as the clerk calls the roll.
Erickson?
Aye.
Stevenson?
Aye.
Boyette?
Aye.
Bates?
Aye.
Lang?
Aye.
Lundrum?
Aye.
Borchardt?
Aye.
Hillstrom?
Aye.
Skirms?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That motion passes.
That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much for that much improved report.
Oh.
Wow.
Just kidding, Marge. All right.
Feeling a little spunky, aren't you, going on vacation?
Let's see here. On vacation Sunday, so yeah. Item number C is Community Development Authority, report from the CDA, Director Hayes.
Just very quickly to let the council know the 3 projects we have downtown, 2 underway, well underway. The project on the corner, the 201 West Wisconsin project on the corner of Church and Wisconsin should break ground in July.
Oh, thank you. You drive by that apartment building, you see all those $12 2x4s on there, and you start adding them up, and it's like, holy smokes, that's a lot of 2x4s. Alderman Bates?
Chris, could you give us an update on the prosthodontist where the Burger King was, that building?
It's gone.
Yeah,
I'm not, I would have to look at the agreement, but I know that it was out.
They were doing
maybe
some grading.
2000. Yeah,
They were
I
doing
think
some
they're
grading and
I think that to me it looks like they were just getting rid of the remainder of the parking lot, and I think the construction was in perhaps 22. But Alderman Hillstrom may have more insight.
Yeah,
Alderman Hillstrom?
I just talked to Brad about that this week. So he says it has to be completed by 2024. There's about a year of construction.
Okay. Alderman Boyette?
Thanks. Director Hayes, I'm just curious if you could give me an update on the Marathon vacant property on the island.
I have no updates. Is there something specific? We did issue some orders.
Okay.
There was some items falling off the building, literally. So those, I don't know that they've been corrected, but I do know we wrote orders on it probably a week or 2 ago already.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, because it looked like too maybe some vandals had gotten a hold of the copper in the air conditioning units as well, and I'm just curious about safety measures, if the owners are going to do anything about that, or...
That I know of, every time a window gets broken, a new board goes up, so it's getting worse
Yeah.
as opposed to getting better.
Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Item number D is the Library Board report. Alderperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Public Library Board met tonight at 4 o'clock, and there's a number of things I'd like to report on. The first is the Soar into Summer program will begin June 14th and run through July 31st, and all summer programming will be held at Shattuck Park. There's several family programs, and there is a summer reading challenge, and you can sign up online. So you're going to see some brand new green signs this time. So if you're interested in having a Neenah Public Library sign in your yard, those can be available at the Neenah Public Library free of charge. Library hours beginning June 1st, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 a.m., or 8 p.m., excuse me. Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 4. And that concludes my report. Remember to visit the library.
Thank you very much. The Arts Council is also Alderperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Neenah Arts Council met on Wednesday, May 12th. There are several things on the docket for the Arts Council. July 3rd, we will have a booth at the Farmers Market with an art project. July 28th, we will be participating with Bazaar After Dark. We will also have a booth. And September 18th, we will participate at the 5th Annual Intertribal Powwow. So if you're interested in doing an art project at any of these events, please check for the Neenah Arts Council booth. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. There are no petitions I'm aware of. Anyone want to do anything with council directives? Council directives, unfinished business, under item number 13. I have one item of unfinished business. I did not have this. We usually are going to do these the first meeting of the month, and I didn't have the document. And that's retirements. We just like to recognize those individuals who've retired from service. And we had one retirement in the city in the month of April, and that was Randall Flunker from the Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue. He retired as a fire officer with 31 years of service, and I'd like to say congratulations and thank you to firefighter Randall Flunker and wish him well in his retirement. So I have that. I was also going to mention before everyone left from the fire department, Todd will probably remember this because I think Todd and I were the only ones. In 1985, aldermen had badges, just so you know. We had little badges that said Alderman, District 1, District 2, District 3. After watching the process tonight of pinning them on, I hope you're glad that we got rid of them because I still have a couple of them in my actual drawer that George left me, and so they're very. And I'll tell you one funny story. There was an alderman named Walter Schrapla, and one time
721 Mitchell Street.
Everyone knew Walter, and Walter would be sitting right out there, and he did a lot of challenging of things here at the city, let's just say it that way. But Alderman took this job pretty serious, and there's the story from the police department. One day, someone did a U-turn in downtown Neenah, so Alderman Schrapla, right downtown. And Alderman Schrapla took his badge out and placed the person under arrest. So, and that's a true story. And
it was shortly after that we got rid of the badges.
So the badges tonight just made me think of that.
You mean all those tickets I wrote don't mean anything?
So, wow. All right. Okay, under new business then. Item A, I just put on there, discussion of committee meetings return to in person. As you're all aware, the rules for masking have changed recently with the new CDC recommendations. I kind of reached out to some of you and talked to you, and Alderman Stevenson and I had discussions along with City Attorney and Director Keel. Came up with the best plan that we can. I still have a couple decisions to make with regards to that. It's not as easy as it sounds, but we have new recommendations. We are now back into the council chambers. We're still making sure we try to social distance, and that for a little while yet is my recommendation. With regards to committee meetings, Alderman Stevenson, Council President Stevenson and I had some discussions, and if it's okay with the chairpersons, we would like to, the first meetings in June, go back to in-person meetings for committees, but have them in this room where there's more space and at this probably table so that we can adhere to the social distancing guidelines. Okay, with the two chairmen. Alderman Bates.
That's a good idea, bringing it in here. A question for, could we make sure that there's a sign out there that says if you're not vaccinated, to where, I know that there's kind of one on the front door, but something that's prominent, almost like that sign that we have when court is in session? Kind of, yeah, that would be great, but I appreciate that having it out here.
We can make that ask. Yep, thank you. We can make that ask. Thank you very much. Alderman Erickson, go ahead.
I have a question on the council meetings. Yeah. When will we go back to the electronic voting?
When the new clerk is up and running and gets trained on it.
Okay.
And when we're not going to meeting, my suggestion is we go just through the month of June, and then probably July 1. That'll give her time to get up to speed on the system and that. And then,
Okay.
I would only add that given the unique situation with turnover within the department, there really isn't anyone who knows how to work the system right now. That's why we're not using it.
well, Chris figured out Dan's job, and short order, right, Dan? So, Dan gave me a list of things you did wrong too, Chris. So just so you know.
Performance
yeah.
review.
So as soon as Shar can get up to speed in that, we'll get back. Alderman Boyett?
Thank you. I would just like to say for the record that regardless of shots or not, I'm still going to probably wear a face covering due to my own health concerns, and it has nothing to do with COVID.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I don't think there has to be official action on that. I think, the council president and I.
One more time, the subcommittees will be meeting at what time, or at what date? June 1st? And then council August 1st?
The first meeting will be the second Monday in May, correct, Jerry?
Yeah. Yeah.
In June, sorry. You have a date on that? So that'll be the first time we'll meet. Then I presume, Mike, for CIP workshop, we'll do the same. We'll meet in here. Okay? All right. So item number B, we put this back on the agenda. I think Director Hayes had requested it. I know we had talked about it a while ago, and we wanted some more time to gather information and some time. This is on the amendment, potential amendment of Municipal Code 4-95 that would provide for the sale of fermented malt beverages from businesses that dispense gasoline. And just so folks know, nothing can be voted on at this meeting without a suspension of the rules. So can make a motion to recommend action at a future council meeting would be the requested action, if anything at all. Okay? Adam, you have anything to add? Okay. So with that, Director Hayes, would you give us an update first of all?
Yes, I will, Mayor. The memo that you have in front of you, and I know we have several new aldermen on board since we've talked about this last, but historically this was a question that was raised in late 2019, was presented to the Committee of the Whole at that time. Additional information was requested. We had brought that back in February of 2020. Again, with a request for some additional information. Shortly thereafter, we ran into COVID, and this item has been on the back burner since. At the time in February, it was a directive to staff to bring that information back, and that's what you have in front of you this evening. In addition to specifically, and unfortunately, we had a change in our staffing in the clerk's office at that time. So the minutes are essentially the memo that I issued in February. So I was going off notes and memory as to what the council requested, but I do know one of the items was, and I specifically remember coming from Alderman Kunz, was the number of stations that convenience stores that we currently have in the city, their sizes, some relative information to those. And as you can see, that's in the table in your memo. We have 11 convenience stores currently in the city, varying in size from 1,000 square feet to 5,000 square feet, so they vary in their size. I had provided a summary in bullet point format in the memo of items that would propose as part of an ordinance in order to limit this essentially to fermented beverages, a number of things to try and address some of the issues that were raised this evening. There was the comments about Madison. Clearly, the staff at Sellers is much better than the staff was in Madison. I don't know what that means for our, any of our store staff here. We would, as you can see from the recommendations in the memo, have at least 2 cashiers on duty in a store that would be selling alcohol. I believe, and I don't quote me on this, that Neenah may be one of 6 communities in the state that does not allow alcohol to be sold from its C-stores. The proposal, unlike our neighbors, and again, I can't say this for sure, but I believe most of our neighbors allow the full gamut alcohol from fermented to distilled beverages. Most allow single serve. Most have, maybe not most, but a lot of C-stores in the area have a significant area allocated to alcohol sales. The one that comes to mind is, of all places, the Pride of Menasha. So they, it's very in your face when you walk in that store. Coincidentally, Deputy Director Schmidt and I did visit some of those. One of the stores that interestingly was new to me, we went to the tobacco outlet on the corner of Winneconne and South Commercial. My expectation was that it was going to be much more like a liquor store, and the opposite is true. It's much more like a grocery store. I was surprised at the number of grocery items that are available in that store. And someone coined the phrase to me, and I don't know that this is an appropriate comment, but the comment was that we are not overbuilt with convenience stores, we're under demolished. So we have stores that are very aged and have a high degree of obsolescence. Quite frankly, I don't know how some of them continue to operate. But with that, I'm not sure, I can't speak to the market conditions, but given the level of competition, even though it may not be strong, at least from some of the stations, the ability to, at least what we have heard, is the ability to sell at least malt beverages would be enough of a difference to be able to allow some of these newer stores to locate in locations that are maybe less desirable because of lack of traffic. I know several have mentioned, a number of people mentioned to me over the years that, as an example, we only have one convenience store, one gas station west of Highway 41. That's I believe it's still a Mobile on Gillingham Road, but anything west of there, we have nothing. We did have a proposal for a store at the corner of Tuller and Winneconne. They had initially hoped to have alcohol when they became aware of, I'm not saying this was the only reason, but when they became aware of the inability to sell alcohol, that location went away. I know the Monomart, which has been gone for a number of years on the corner of Green Bay Road and Main Street, was one that at that time Mayor Shirk, they had proposed to construct a new store there, but indicated that they would not be willing to do that without alcohol, and they have since obviously are no longer there. It was noted, all of the comments relative to the studies, one of which I think the comment was made that the economic development people don't always look at the negative impacts, and I would say the same thing. The health officials don't always look at the economic impacts. So there's more to this equation than just alcohol, but it is an item that has been on the shelf, and I think regardless of the decision that the council chooses to make, we wanted to get it in front of the council so we had some clarity moving forward as it relates to inquiries for these types of establishments in the future.
All right, thank you very much. City Attorney Westbrook.
Just quickly to bounce off of what Director Hayes just said, the ordinance that was put together in your packet is really just a guideline and would require a special use permit anyways. So the council can place any restrictions they would like or change anything in this ordinance. This ordinance was not meant to get passed tonight or get recommended as it's written tonight. Obviously that would be great. It would be easier for me, but the idea was to give you something to work off of so that you could see the direction that community development wanted, but that it can be amended. So please don't take the ordinance to be what you know I wrote to has to be passed or recommended.
The list of requirements that are proposed in this, quite a big list. Those were kind of from initial discussions, right, Chris, that you had heard from certain councils.
Yes, that's correct.
So, anyone have comments, questions, anything like that with regards to this? I would like to just ask maybe Heidi or Nikki, I guess. So I read all the stuff here and that, and talk a lot about density, and you know we're surrounded. So do you have anything other than anecdotal? I mean, I see you had data from Canada, study examining 16 years worth of data in Canada. But do you have any clear distinction that underage drinking or youthful drinking is more prevalent in Village of Fox Crossing because they have more outlets, or Winneconne, or some of our surrounding neighbors, Oshkosh, than it is here in Neenah? Or how do you have you looked at that, talking to our high school students, or what? You know, I didn't see that too much in here as it related to our area. Come on up to the microphone so that people can hear you. Thank you.
There is the youth risk behavior survey, and the thing is, I mean, we provide that data at the county level. It's really up to the schools to release it at the school level, because sometimes the schools aren't comfortable with that. But we could also compare Winnebago County to Outagamie County or to the other counties, or we can ask the schools. I mean, we have it at the county level, and I'll just double check with Nikki if she has anything updated to add. And maybe she's, but I mean,
I was going to say the same thing, Heidi, is just the youth risk behavior survey data is what I know of. But we can try to look at some local data to provide for an additional meeting.
we do ask, I mean, the youth risk behavior survey, and it's done every 2 years. It was supposed to be done in the spring this year, but, you know, COVID. And so they'll do it in the fall of, but we have previous data. They ask, that's how we get our youth binge drinking rates and our 30-day use rate and age of onset, that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you. Any other people have questions for Nikki or anything? Or Heidi? I do have one other thing, Heidi. Since you've been here before and you've told us that this is a high priority for the department, has the department, Winnebago County Health Department, have you been proactive? Have you went to any of the communities that have these ordinances which allow it and asked them to rescind them in Winnebago County?
Well, I think, you know, you probably know that these are very difficult, alcohol licenses are difficult to rescind. That, you know, you need to have a reason to rescind it. So I know, you know, like we've worked with Julia Sherman, who's kind of our statewide expert on, and she runs the Alcohol Policy Project out of UW-Madison. And I mean, that's the thing, you know, once ordinance is passed, to change your mind on it, you know, you can't just pull it unless you have reasons to. And so the whole community then has to say, we're not going to do this anymore. I mean, so then the people that you're taking the license away from, you know, you're trying to establish a way to do that. If somebody loses their license, you know, for a legal reason, you know, for whatever, then it's easy to do.
Sure.
But I don't think you can just.
But Winnebago County hasn't tried to ask communities who have this rule to change it.
Right.
Winnebago County Health. Adam, if any council who allowed C-stores to sell alcohol, if they wanted to change their ordinance, would that preclude them from non-renewal of
Yeah, so I think
Class A licenses?
I think with your question, Mayor, any municipality could pass an ordinance that says C-stores are no longer allowed to sell alcohol, and those licenses obviously would then have to be pulled the next time. I think what is being said here is that pulling a license is very difficult for a community. It would be very difficult for a community to say no Class A licenses are allowed, or generally we're not going to allow alcohol. It could happen, but it would be much easier for a community to put limitations on what types of establishments can have them, such as what our ordinance currently says. There definitely does need to be some public purpose to it, but it's much easier than just pulling the license would be.
Okay, thanks. Alderman Borchert.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm probably asking a question I don't think we can answer, but I just want to ask it just of the listed convenience stores that you have on this list here, I said there, I think there's about 12 or so. Do we know how many are locally owned? And the reason I ask that question is my concern is that I wonder how many of these, if locally owned, would be closing down if a Casey's and a Quick Trip add 2 more stores each to Neenah. And I don't know, I guess I'm thinking about the local mom and pop organization. And maybe these are corporate run, or some of them are. I actually had the opportunity, I was here for a couple of these because, let the record state, I'm a friend of Jake's. And he had, you know, the argument, and I understood the equity of business in the free market for the stores to have, you know, the ability to sell. And because, let's make no mistake about it, you can go into Sellers and get a single serve can and you're in your car. There's really not much difference than any of the liquor stores that we have here in Neenah, where you can go get a single serve stand. I think it's the law that we have, or the ordinance we have, has been around for a while. But now I'm worried about the influence of these larger companies, these corporations that then start to push out the smaller person, the uniqueness that has it. I know the buildings will look nicer and maybe occupy spots that might be, I guess, maybe not traveled to, but now will be. I don't know. It is weird to think about it this way now, from sitting on the council and having to make a decision, because I know the constituents, you know, would maybe like that convenience, but it's not like we're taking beer away. You have the option to drive to another place and get your single serve can of Fruity Tooty, whatever you have. I don't know. I guess I'm just telling you right now that I'm not sure if it's going to benefit the smaller business people, and I don't think we do need any more convenience stores in Neenah or more gas.
Alderman Boyett.
Thank you. So, Director Hayes, I'm just curious. We currently have 11 gas stations, and if this were to come to fruition, then they obviously would probably all apply to get the Class A license. My question is, that's 11 additional licenses in the city. Would we cap that number, or would we not allow other gas stations to come in and build? Because to be honest with you, I think at some point with liquor licenses, we're going to run into what we had a year or two ago with like bars and restaurants, where there's a waiting line, and you know, we got to wait for a license to come available. So I'm just curious. There is no limit. So would we put a limit? We would not.
Well, that would be a council decision. The Class B, the taverns, in my opinion, is crazy That was clearly the Tavern League trying to protect their interests. And it's putting our communities at issue when we have quality restaurants that want to open and sell a cocktail, and fortunately we haven't had to run into that yet, but we could.
Yeah, and so, yeah, again, my question is, you know, at some point, do we cap that, or do we have like 11 current additional licenses if this were to pass to what do we have now? I'm just curious. Does anybody know?
You just passed it today. Exhibit A has everyone who has a
I know, but can you give me a number?
11?
Huh?
11, 10, 11? 12?
12, okay, and then if we pass this, that would be an additional 11.
So again, because what's being proposed would require a special use permit, you could say that only 4 special use permits would be, again, the council can put any limitations they want on this because this is more than just giving someone a Class A fermented license.
Yep.
It's that plus getting a special use permit to do it. So you could put any limitations you wanted. You could put limitations on the size of the gas station. You could put numbers, anything you wanted.
Okay.
All of them might not apply because you have to have 2 employees.
Right, yeah, no,
You might not want to do that provision.
right.
Square footage, it said what, 10% square footage. I say 10% of my square footage is not worth it.
Right.
In theory, they all could.
They all
But
could.
they'd have to comply with the list of whatever you guys.
Correct, and then if we have another grocery store come in, then that's another one, or a potential, so I'm just trying to get my head around, like, how many are we gonna allow in our city? Because honestly, I mean, Neenah's a good size, but I don't think we're big enough to have 500 of them or whatever.
The market will determine the hardware, any trophy, the, restaurant. Market.
When you look, how many liquor stores we'll have?
And, the one thing about this is 8 people could come next week and apply for a liquor license for a store, for a liquor store. There's not a darn thing we could do about it. Is that correct? I don't think so.
There's little we can do.
There's little we can do if it's a bona fide liquor store. Very little we can do because the state of Wisconsin says you have to provide unlimited.
The mobile gas station that you inquired about earlier asked for a liquor license. They asked to have a liquor store there. We were denied. They were denied because of the location next to the school.
Right, and that's because that our ordinance is already in place.
Correct. But had they been 150, had they been in the round building, different story.
Now, with that in mind, could they or someone build on the other end of that vacant lot, and it would be enough footage from that school?
Yes.
It would. Okay. Thank you.
John, Alderperson Williams.
I appreciate the comment you brought up, Mr. Mayor. I think in the document provided by the Health Department also mentioned the assumption that this number is going to double, I think is not valid. If you reading through the proposed ordinance, this seems terribly onerous to me. I don't think there's going to be a line of people, gas stations signing up to do this. I may be wrong, but I think a lot of stores have 1 clerk. They don't have 2. May not be over 18. Not a licensed server. And the margin on a 6-pack of beer is not much. So I don't know that we're going to have a long list of people. I may be wrong. But to assume it's going to double if we do anything, I don't think is valid.
Alderperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I was wondering, Director Hayes, somebody said that there were 6 communities total that don't have.
Don't quote me on that. That was my recollection, that there was roughly a half a dozen in the state.
I'm just curious what who those communities are, and do you have any idea who they are?
I don't. it's none in the Fox cities.
How would we find that out?
They have to research it.
Okay.
Would a dry community be on that list? Would that fit the? No, I'm saying would Ephraim fall under one of the 6?
Was.
I don't think so. Still is.
Still is.
Yeah, yeah.
Booming, I think, Ephraim. But
Did see it on camera. Other comments or questions? So, there was talk last time about, I haven't done this, but food deserts in the city. No place you can go to get a sandwich at grocery.
Gasoline.
Pardon?
Or gasoline.
Yeah, or gas. But you can't even can't go get a sandwich. You can't get groceries. Some of the convenience stores, they've changed a lot over time, selling them chips. Sold bread, milk, and chips for a while there. Now they sell everything. Some of them sell steaks, everything. But the concept of a food desert, we're fortunate we don't have many in our area, but in Milwaukee, it's prevalent. But I hear from a lot of people on the island that like to be able to purchase some of the items on the island. But then again, I've heard that if we do a grocery store there, they'd support it. Well, Nash should try to grocery. It's just that's not enough, and people will go to wherever the cheapest is, which is always by the highway and that. So I don't know how much you can take of that, but the food desert thing is a little bit of a concern for me, and that's one of the things that we talked about. Bring it up. Other comments or questions? So Director Hayes, you as the Community Development Director, do you believe that there are lost opportunities from economic development?
I believe that the community stands more to gain by changing this ordinance than they stand to lose.
Sure.
I'm new to this, but looking back on the years this has been kicked around this body, it seems like it's time that we should decide, do we want to do this or not? I think it ought to be on the agenda for the next council and put some guardrails around it, yes or no. That sounds simplified. I know you've been struggling with this a long time, but not a simple issue.
Mayor?
Alderperson Stevenson.
Yeah, I can't quote specifically what actions the council has taken or not taken and what the process has been, but I can, to answer Alderperson Skern's question or respond to his statement, the council has made decisions based on either action or non-action. So we have had this before us, quite honestly, when Jake was on the other side of the fence here asking for us to do it, and the council chose not to take action. So in essence, supporting the status quo as what's currently in place now. I think, so I'll leave it at that for right now. I mean, it's not like this council hasn't addressed the issue. So if we're expected to vote annually on, specifically on a piece of legislation, no, we haven't done that. But we have had it before us, and we have taken action that has defined the current status quo as being the decision of choice, either by not taking action or I don't remember if we took action to not move forward with it or what, but. So so to your question, to your comment that we should do something and take action, this council has sent messages based on our either action or inaction on this issue.
That I understand. I thought from the last, whenever the minutes in February or whatever, that community development was directed to bring back to us, answer these questions, and respond accordingly. I may be mistaken.
Director Hayes, go ahead.
Just to give the council my perspective on, if you note, my recommendation was to the committee of the whole. My expectation was that this was going to the committee of the whole this evening with the intent of providing, in essence, a 2-week notice to the community that this would may be considered at the next meeting. I know there was some changes in it. It's now in front of the council. But there has been, I suspect you could find advocates that could speak on the other side of this that aren't even aware that this is on the agenda this evening. So I just make the council aware of that.
I mean, this community has made some changes. We now have drive up, buy alcohol, drive up at grocery stores and that. I don't know. Years ago, I would have never thought that I would have seen that. So, go ahead.
Thank you, Mary. You refreshed my memory on something. So, it may have been alluded to in one of my memos. The changes that we've made in the 30 years since I've been here relative to alcohol, all of which came with huge concerns. We started the outdoor cafes and the beer gardens with much angst. We started the sidewalk cafes that required an enclosure around them. At some point in time, we said it's not really an issue. Those have gone away. Those things have all, I don't think we have any businesses that are utilizing the pickup alcohol, but everything that we've done with the concern with alcohol in the past, we had the Bazaar After Dark, alcohol on the street. Those things have all gone essentially without any of the concerns that were raised coming up. So we've had a very slow progression, maybe that's the wrong choice, slow modifications of our ordinances over the years, often with much discussion and much debate and with much concern that there was going to be all kinds of ill effects of those changes. And I don't believe any of those ever materialized in any changes that we've made up to this point.
I agree. We are unique, and we've been unique ever since I've been here since 1985, and that's what kind of one of the things that makes Neenah different. I was let Chris go, but I was just going to say that when we've made these changes, have fortunately not seen dramatic shifts in crime, shifts in alcoholism, shifts in youth using more alcohol. During the pandemic, right across the street, every day at 4 o'clock, you see people all winter long lined up at Lionsdale, get their beer to go in single serve cans, 2 cans, 3 cans, 4 cans. I'd sit and watch them because they had a window served to go during the pandemic, and there did not seem to be some problems. Sometimes they'd sit out on the chairs and drink them. Now they're going to be much more formalized with their new thing. But the owner of the gas station on the corner of Green Bay Road and Main Street has told me for some time, I mean, this guy, he's next to a liquor store, next to a gas station. People actually put gas in their car. Husband puts gas in the car while the wife walks next door to the liquor store and gets the case of beer, brings it back and throws it in the cooler when they go to the Brewers game. Now he tells me that literally he can see the Speedway gas station down the street on Green Bay Road that he has to compete with, and it's big corporation versus him. He's an Amoco dealer, but he's a local guy. Now he's got to compete with Speedway at the end of Green Bay Road, who has a big beer section, I guess. I haven't been there yet, but they have a big sign out there that says beer right along the highway. So I think Chris is right. I mean, I don't think we always worry in the health department. I understand what they're doing. We always worry about the unknown, and we always worry that, oh my gosh, what are we opening the floodgates to? The few minor changes that we've made, this community has made, we have not seen the dramatic reversal where, you know, the dam broke, so to speak. So I don't know. This may be it, but there's a lot of positives that this community, there's a reason why, and I have no disrespect to Jake or anyone, but, you know, one particular chain, they're doing big business. There's always lines there. There's always, you know, along the highway. Some other chain may want to come onto the island. They may want to come somewhere else. And I'm a small business guy, and I was a very small business guy. I was never afraid of competition because if I provided good service, if I did other things, I could take on those big guys. And Kruger's Hardware, when Walmart came in, there were people who said Kruger's Hardware wouldn't be there. They predicted Kruger's Hardware wouldn't be there in a couple of years because Walmart coming in and selling a hammer for a hell of a lot cheaper than they were. But Kruger's still hardware is still there because of their longevity, their history here, and their good customer service. So I don't know. It's the marketplace. It's capitalism. It's, you know, people survive. So I don't know if that's government's role to decide who the winners are and who the losers are. That's for people who are investors and want to create jobs and that in this community. So it's a tough call. I understand it. Chris kind of did what the council wanted to do and asked me, Mayor, can we bring this up now and trying to get some finality or not? One of them.
Mayor.
Yes. Alderman Lundrum.
Thank you, Mayor. We have decided finality multiple times. And when you say that we have allowed some of that floodgates to open a little bit, we have been very circumspect on what we have allowed. Lion's Tail drinking, that type of beer drinking, is not picking up your average Joe six-pack. It's just a totally different animal. And I just don't see that kind of comparison to opening everything up. We've been very careful with Bazaar After Dark. We allowed it, but again, they're all, I forgot that kind of beer, the fancy beer, the artisan beer, craft beer, thank you. That's no one can afford to get drunk on that kind of beer. It's too expensive. So it's made to savor. So I think we have been very circumspect in our decisions to open up that type of drinking in the past. Neenah is very unique and special in that we're very family friendly, and I love being one of 6, if that's a true statement, that doesn't sell alcohol in convenience stores. I think it's awesome. And I drink. I've always said that. I'm not an anti-drinker. But the proliferation of alcohol access, no one's going hungry. There's no food desert, even on the island. I live on the island. There's no loss of, it takes 2 seconds to get gas, liquor, groceries, whatever. We're not in any kind of a desert. So that, and I live there. So actually I'm very proud of Neenah holding up our, I don't know if it's moral values. I mean, we don't allow alcohol in the park, so it's part of our history. And I don't know, I'm proud to continue that. So we have made a decision. This hasn't been just flying around and been uncertain. I assume community development brings it forward when there's a potential for a business to come in. So it's more that. So we need to think about that.
Anyone else? Okay. Chris? Yeah, there's anything on that? Where would we go? Tonight was more of a bringing back information. Adam, does someone have to request that this come forward or not?
If the council wanted to do anything on this, yes, they would have to request that it either get sent to committee, get sent to council. Otherwise, if no motion is made, then this was a presentation and a discussion. And then the next time it gets brought up is either when two aldermen decide to put it on an agenda item, or the community development director talks to you, and then you decide to put it on the agenda.
Okay. All right, anyone? Alderman Boyette.
I guess I just have a question. If there's not a motion made, then this just goes away until two other aldermen bring it up at another time.
Or until it gets put on an agenda some other time
But
through
to do-
some
right.
means.
Right. So I guess, whether you're for it or against it, I'm curious to know why wouldn't we send this to a committee and then figure it out there and let it be decided? And then that way we know it's either going to go or it's not, instead of just doing nothing, I guess.
So the reason it was put on the agenda is because at the last meeting, council directed community development to answer some questions and bring it back. That's why it came back. It could have either come back to a cow, which is what Chris originally intended. However, in discussions with the mayor, given the hybrid formula, we would have had multiple go-to meetings. The fact that you're all the same people anyways, we just said it would be easier to just re-present the information at a council meeting, considering you can't really take action without suspending the rules anyways, so it was no difference, which is why it got put on the council agenda instead of a separate cow agenda. But essentially, the same thing is true. If this were a cow, you would have to make some recommendation to either send it back to committee, or send it to committee, or forward it to council. So the same thing is true here. You can choose to do nothing, and then it was just Director Hayes reporting back to you. You can choose to send it to a committee. You can choose to send it right to council. You can choose to suspend the rules and vote on it tonight. Those are all options that you have.
Just a comment that Director Hayes brought up. There are 9, 10 of us here and 5 others who spoke this evening. It reminds me of a recent mask discussion where the first evening it was brought up and one side was well represented, and we felt it necessary to give the other side an opportunity to voice their opinions. This seems somewhat similar to me, but
Alderperson Lang.
I would prefer, rather than going to committee, because we all seem to have strong viewpoints and opinions on this, that I would prefer it be put on the agenda for the next council meeting or the next appropriate council meeting.
I would second that.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
There's a motion by Alderman Lang. Is there a second?
I would second that.
Is there a second by Alderman Boyette to put this issue on the next council meeting agenda?
So this would go under unfinished business on the next council agenda. Just to be clear, currently, this ordinance as it's written would go forward. If that's what you want, that's fine. Otherwise, you would need to make any recommendations before it came back, just to make that clear.
If I could, I think we need to be clear that Alderperson Lang is asking that the ordinance be presented on the next agenda. Is that your motion?
Yes.
The proposed ordinance that was brought forward through Community Development and our DOLIS department. That's what the request is currently. It's under new business, and as long as I have the floor, to Alderperson Boyd, that's why we don't send it to a committee, is because we, as the committee of the whole, sent it to staff asking for additional information. By doing that, there is no guarantee that a vote has to be taken or will be taken. So Chris, due to the pandemic, took him a while to get back to us with the information. We received the information. I found it very pertinent. I found it very informative, but it doesn't cause me to have any desire to take action on an ordinance limiting or adding the fermented alcohol to be sold in C-stores. That's my opinion, but I'm one of 9. And my guess is that there might be others. I know one of who spoke about it specifically shares that position, and I don't know what the others do, but so that's why the motion from Alderman Lang will tell us who is in that camp of wanting to deal with the issue. Personally, I don't think it's an issue right now for a number of factors, some of which haven't been mentioned tonight.
So there is a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions on this? Okay, seeing none. All in favor of putting the proposed ordinance that was brought forward tonight by Director Hayes on the next council agenda will signify by saying aye as the clerk calls your name, no if you're opposed.
Stevenson?
No.
Boyette?
Aye.
Bates?
No.
Lang?
Aye.
Lundrum?
Nay.
Borchardt?
No.
Hillstrom?
No.
Skirms?
Aye.
Erickson?
Aye.
That's 4 ayes. Just checking my math, 5 noes.
The motion to direct that this be placed on the next agenda fails by a motion of 4 to 5. Okay. So we're done with that. Are there any other announcements or questions that may legally come before? Alderperson Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. I was wondering if somebody could give us an update on that Lauren salvage yard?
Sure. I could, we just received the Phase 2 work. If you recall, we submitted to the Wisconsin DNR for a grant to have that work completed. It came in late last week. It's about this thick, and I haven't had time to digest it yet. But there is contamination on the site we expected. I don't think it's significant, but we haven't had a chance to evaluate that. I haven't been out there in a while. He was very close to being completed, but I still think there's work to be done in terms of removing some of the salvage material from the site. If anyone's interested in an old bus, you might get a good deal.
That's what I was wondering about. I saw the bus.
There's a bus and a couple of old Jeeps and other miscellaneous things.
I heard the bus was the same one in that movie, so it's, it's got some value. Mayor. Kidding. So that's where we're at. So we haven't had a chance to digest it yet and see what it means, but so that's where we're at.
My question is, when you drive by, you still see some of that junk there. Is there any opportunity to get that moved sooner rather than later?
I would hope so. I haven't talked to Lauren in a few weeks. I think I mentioned to the council that early in late in 2020, he suffered a health issue, so that's delayed him somewhat. But I know he has had people working on it quite a bit, but I don't know that that's the case recently.
Okay.
I did document it with video probably about 3 or 4 weeks, just so I would have something to compare it to. And again, I just haven't been out there in the last few weeks to see.
I just think when people are driving by, if we could just finish up that part of it, it would be good.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, good.
Mayor?
Other comments or questions? Alderman Lindrum.
Thank you, Mayor. On Sunday, there's a bike auction. You remember, were you going to bring that up?
That is Sunday at the Neenah Police Department.
Yep.
It's the bikes that they've accumulated throughout the year of lost or discarded or stolen.
Or
whatever.
donated.
It starts at inspections at 11.
Yep.
Bike auction starts at noon, and the proceeds go to benefit Youth Go.
Yep, very good.
Off of memory.
Thank you.
Comments, Alderperson Stevenson.
Yeah, just again, for the council, I've received responses from most of you, but I think there's a couple left regarding participation in the Memorial Day Parade. We do have the Neenah Menashe Fire Rescue emergency operation vehicle that you can ride in, but the trailer that we've had before is no longer, well, it's not currently functional. So we'd either ride in that, Alderperson Boyette's going to be one rider in that, and or you can walk. So let me know, and let me know if you're going to participate, because I want to make sure I get you the directions as to where our location will be.
If you want a trailer for the parades, you may have to make an amendment to the CIP, right, Mike? From what I hear, from what they tell me.
We can always use the bus.
Not in good
from
shape.
From the junkyard, we can always ride the bus.
I can get you a deal on the bus.
We can go look at the junkyard.
Do you not know the location yet, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Why? Should I know it?
Super secret information. No.
I know. Well, I gotta be honest.
I just know where other groups are being told to meet, like in specific.
Well, you know what?
places,
I
so
haven't checked my mailbox, so maybe
that might be where.
That might be where it is.
All right.
One last thing, Dean, excuse me, Mayor, you talked about having a picture and a photo, and are we talking about a date on that at all, now that the masks are?
Well, we'll get Shar here and have her start looking at it for maybe July or something. You know, it's always the option we could do it outside. So.
I would like to congratulate Alderperson Borchard for the picture he provided for the website. If you haven't been on the website, if you're looking for some humor.
I think he gave us 3.
He gave you options.
I think he gave us 6.
Okay.
3 were discounted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Alderman Boyette.
Mayor, I just wanted to remind the folks out there that on Memorial Day, before the parade, there is a waterfront ceremony at the, I don't even know what it's called, the park there in the water by Menashe and
on the river.
On the river, yeah. And the public is definitely welcome to join in on that as well. That begins
after
begins at 8 a.m.
After the parade, there's also the Oak Hill Cemetery. They are doing that. They're going to ask people to spread out, social distance, and they are going to have an event also. I've got a couple things here. If you haven't been down Lakeshore Drive yet, you got to go check it out. It's community is abuzz with that project, I would say. It's looking good. I am looking at putting together some sort of formal ribbon cutting on that street, early June, and maybe a tree planting because I think the community needs this. It's been a long haul. We have one more action we're waiting on, City Attorney. Do we have any time frame for that?
The Court of Appeals, on average, takes about 10 to 12 months to make a decision, which means if they keep that average, we will hear in January of next year.
Okay, so we're waiting for that, but we have moved forward, and Lakeshore Drive, watch your for a ribbon cutting at some point, because I think that would be good. Bazaar After Dark, they announced that this week, the Chamber did. That will be July 28th, I think. It's a Wednesday night, not a Thursday this year. So it's a Wednesday night. The Chamber is looking forward to that. And I will tell you this, I'm on a committee with the Chamber. We met with the health departments of Outagamie County, City of Appleton, Winnebago County's been involved. We have their blessing. I will tell you, Oktoberfest is 250,000 people, and they're planning on doing it. They're going to post, Bazaar After Dark's going to post. We're going to ask people to be smart, use their head, wear a mask if you're not vaccinated, but otherwise, we are moving forward with Bazaar After Dark. Pay attention, there are some pop-up clinics that are popping up, Ascension and that with regards to getting vaccinated. They've asked me if they can do these within our community at certain events and locations, and I have made the offer that I would be very helpful if they want to do pop-up clinics. So they're planning on one in the Dome's parking lot during Bazaar After Dark. There might be one at City Hall coming. There's some other ones that we're looking at, because I would just tell you I'm a strong believer in I believe that we need to get people vaccinated.
So you're offering 2 different types of shots at the Dome?
No.
I will get one free.
Yeah, you can have a shot at the, that's a correct way of putting it, so, but I'm a strong believer in it, and so I'm trying to be helpful. We're trying to get more opportunities for people to get their shots, that's all. The newsletter is coming out at the end of this month, so watch your mailboxes for the newsletter coming out. I will be out of town next week with my lovely bride on a mental health awareness trip. So Alderman Stevenson will be watching things for me and signing anything that needs to be signed or anything for next week. So with that,
I'll be in the office about 10 o'clock, just like the current mayor.
You'll beat me by an hour. Carrie can vouch for me now. Come on, Carrie's keeping an eye.
I was just
I see her write
kidding.
down. Every time I come into work, she writes something down in her notebook. Go ahead, Al.
I just have a brief comment to make. First of all, thank you very much for allowing me to do this interim clerk for a couple of weeks. I appreciate it. It's been very interesting, but I also wanted to make sure the council is fully aware of the excellent staff that's in that office. Adam is doing a wonderful job, Joni and Amanda. I would say Amanda's probably the glue holding it together right now. So, Shar, you're walking into a great
Your notes
group
said
of
the mayor,
people.
too. You missed
Well, the mayor too, but I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't seen him that often when I've been in the office.
Okay, 11 o'clock I'm coming in.
So just thank you again, and again, really have the confidence that office is going to run really well.
Thank you very much. And Ellen has filled in admirably and has been a big help. So, thank you. All right. Anyone else have anything? Done talking and
Move to adjourn.
appreciate it. Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Boyette. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.